But yeah, no, they definitely talk about, they do, something they do, which took me a little while to get used to. All right, when I was down and I busked. Do you guys know what busking is?
Yeah.
But yeah, busking is street performing, and I did that in Galway a few days ago, and I had just like a Celtic drum. And in the shop, when I bought the drum, I was trying to do it, and the woman was like, "No, it's up and down like a paintbrush." And I was like, oh, "Okay, so I got it." She said, "Nope, but you have to leave the store. You have to, you got it. You cannot drum in here any longer." So we went out on the street, and I like with the drum, started out like busking. It was also illegal to busk without a license, so pretty cool. I busked in front of Tommy Hilfiger for a little while, just advertising Tommy Hilfiger. And then
Is this on camera, or were you alone?
I was both. But I thought it would be really funny to do the soundtrack to Rent on the streets of Galway. So I did that until I met this man that was blowing bubbles named Seamus.
And you probably met Bubbles, too, I guess.
We'll be right back.
It'd be rude to not introduce yourself.
And
This is dumb. Welcome home.
Seamus,
Welcome back from the Emerald Isle of lyrical wit to your shitty fat mountain of tits boyfriend who just wants to be loved.
Don't we all? Seamus was blowing bubbles, and I felt like I needed more to my act, and so I walked up to Seamus and asked him what he was doing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm blowing bubbles. I love blowing bubbles." And I said, "Will you blow bubbles near me while I sing?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right. Yeah, sure." And so he picked up he was blowing just one thing of bubbles, and I turned, and there's a whole line against the wall of like all of these bottles of bubbles. And so I like helped him get his bubbles together. And the moment that I was like, "Oh, Seamus," like I don't know why I didn't assume this. So Seamus isn't neurotypical, as he was like polishing his bubbles. I'm not diagnosing him as autistic, but obviously he's not. Anyway, he picked up all his bubbles. Or not obviously. Why am I? Fuck me. Okay, so I picked up all the bubbles, helped him with the bubbles, and we started singing. And I was singing. I was just like improvising about people that were walking by, and these kids were watching me, and these kids were eating their gelato and like laughing, and I was like teasing these kids. And he stops blowing the bubbles, and he says, "Have you ever had sex?"
The bubble guy?
Yeah, Seamus. Yeah, Seamus stopped blowing bubbles. Oh no, he was still blowing bubbles.
To you or the kid?
To me. And the kids are pretty.
How old is Seamus?
Seamus is probably late 50s, early 60s.
How old are the kids?
They were right in the sweet spot.
They were good to go, DeMarge.
Yeah.
In your parlance.
He didn't see the kids. Also, Seamus didn't. I told Seamus, I said that, we're going to be filming this. It's for this silly travel thing. So that's what those guys are doing with like this big camera and this boom mic. And he was like, did not care. And the kids were far away, and he turns to me and says, "Have you had sex?" And I was like, "Seamus, for shame." I said, Seamus, I don't want to have that conversation with you. And he said, I had sex once 40 years ago. And he's saying this as he's like blowing bubbles. And I look over at the guys who are filming, and they can hear everything, and they're giving me the like, "You cool" face. Or in Ireland, you grand. So he then said, "I had sex 40 years ago with a woman, and she was the only lady I ever had sex with, and she died last year, probably because she was so fat." And then it's just continuing to blow bubbles as I'm like, "Pum, lady in a blouse," walking down. And then what did he? And then he said, "They don't talk about AIDS anymore, do they?" As I was like,
Don't bury the lead, Seamus.
No, I think they still talk about AIDS. He's like, no, they don't talk about it no more. They don't talk about AIDS no more. And I said, I know someone with AIDS, and he just continued to blow his bubbles. And the saddest thing was that we put out a hat to make money, and because I'm a brilliant businesswoman, put money in the hat myself, so people would be like, whoa, this must be good.
It's called bait, yeah.
Yeah. I made a deal with Seamus that like we could split whatever we made, and we made nothing. So I took out 20 euro, like a cash 20 euro, and handed it to him, and I was like, here you go. He's like, we made this today. And I was like, yeah, we made this 20 euro. And I gave it to him.
It's from the AIDS talk, Seamus.
Yeah. And as I walked away from him, and I was walking with my friends, we were leaving to go to Gaeltacht, which is like a village where they only speak Irish. And I just started crying, and I was like, I feel so awful. And they're like, yeah, us too. Like, let's take a walk. That's the end of that sad story. Which is like,
wait, what made you feel awful?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It just kind of hit me with I don't know. It just felt really dark. Also, when I was busking, you know what it also was that like at a certain point, I thought it would be funny to just list all my insecurities, as like sing all my insecurities, and I felt like I was kind of exploiting myself a little bit. I don't know. Do you guys ever feel that way?
It's called Harmontown.
Yeah.
But you just wanted to like you mean because he was sort of touched and in multiple senses, and you wanted to like it was like a dark glimpse, like the guy that painted our house, the guy with the headphones.
Yeah.
Like that, I started crying about that.
Well, you know,
I never met him.
Right. You know, I never felt bad for we didn't feel bad for Seamus because Seamus. I think it was the juxtaposition of like me. Feeling because I was listing all these things that I was insecure about and worried about, so it made me like really think about those things. Just to juxtapose with Seamus, who not only does he blow bubbles all the time, he is always like, they're just so beautiful, the bubbles. Look at the bubbles, and look at this bubble and that bubble. And then there were a couple of times when I was doing this for the camera, like when he would slow down a little bit, and I would be like, Seamus, come on. Let's go. And he was like, yeah. And then sometimes he would accidentally blow them in my face. But like he was happy. He was a happy person. And then I was like, you know, I'm beating my drum and like demanding the world to tell me I'm okay. And I was like, what's wrong with me? That was why I felt sad. But it was great. It was great fun. I also it was real good. I also went. I was brought up mostly in Southern California, so obviously my first time taking surf lessons was in Ireland.
That's crazy that you went surfing.
Yeah. With Alan, the surf instructor, who was very nice. And I'm sorry, Danny was very handsome, but he was very short.
I wish some of these people were women. Would make sense because they're half the population. I don't understand why everyone in Ireland's a guy that all wants to teach you something.
Right. Well, in these stories, I met all these people through these wonderful female comedians in Dublin, Alison Spittle and Andrea Farrell, and so there were plenty of women. I was hanging out with a lot of women.
Just no handsome ones.
Just no handsome women? I don't really understand your joke. I see. Okay.
He's just connecting dots, man.